Why does this not play in my ears? There we go.
Game Jumper.
Oof, we actually need to fix that. Hang on. We're gonna fix that right now because I'm gonna forget. Howdy and welcome, I'm your Game Jumper, DJD. Still sleep deprived, but we're gonna power through. Thanks to the power of Bang and Coke Zero. Let's go. Very, very, very excited to jump back into Forgotten City. Probably my favorite game in this iteration of my schedule. Very excited. But before we do, I need to fix one of my things here. Okay. Hang on. Is this live? It should be. Yes, it is. Let me try closing this out and reopening it. Maybe there's an update for it. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, we're not gonna worry about it. Never mind. We're gonna fix it. We're not going to now. We'll worry about that later. The best things are never fixed, okay? So what we discovered, as a brief recap, we woke up on a beach. And went into some ruins. And there was a portal in these ruins that teleported us to here.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I've come from the future.
No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here.
What's today's date?
We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March? It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. What part of the Empire are you from, exactly?
That doesn't help me. Is this before or after Christ?
Hey, not so loud. Just saying that name could land you in trouble here. If you haven't heard, his cultists burned down half of Rome last year. Horrible business. I heard Nero executed some of them, but a lot of people are still angry with them, even down here. So, if you're one of them, keep it to yourself. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So, let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing. Actually, no. We're gonna say your loss.
Not laws, law. There's just one, the Golden Rule, and the punishment for breaking it's, well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
I'll make my own
Look,
way.
you seem like you might need a little extra help, and I feel a
Wow.
lot more comfortable if I showed you the way.
Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing.
Friend, suit yourself. Just don't do anything too reckless till you've spoken with Magistrate Sentius in his villa down there. See you around.
Now, last time we played this, we had a bunch of information on the screen. Unfortunately, I somehow deleted all of that. So, that's fun. Wait, what? Hang on. What? I didn't know this was a thing. There's a Destiny, like, Stream Deck thing that I could potentially use to, like... Ooh, that's not good. Alright. My next day off, I'm gonna have to work on that. I don't think we've been up here yet. I mean, we haven't been a lot of places, so that's not really surprising. We not saved last time, though? I feel like maybe we didn't. Because I'm pretty sure... Uh-oh. Hang on. We're gonna look real quick. Yeah, no, this would be our last save. This is about where we called it, I think.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm Detective Chitty, and we've had this conversation before.
So, I've never seen you before in my life.
Your name is Galerius.
Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you. Of course. What did you want to know?
I did want to talk to him. Let's ask him what he thinks about the election.
I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is almost as bad. Even I could do a better job. Me, a farmer. And I've never given a speech or put on a toga in my life.
Do you know a way out of here?
As much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Scintilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me.
What's your story?
Well, it's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it.
I have time.
I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and two little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. Sprinted so fast I almost threw up, but by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty. That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken heart.
So you don't like the legions
Things
then?
went downhill from
Interesting.
there.
That's good
I took
to
over the
know.
farmstead, but I was young. It was a struggle. More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These Legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick,
Whoa.
and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. Still burns whenever I think about it. Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those
My
of us
gosh,
who
you're
survived
not kidding when you say this is a long story. Jeez.
So, then I found myself being transported all the way to Rome to be sold to the highest bidder. I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me, and I'd just end up right back where I was. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. You see,
7
about
months ago is
an
when that
enormous
fire broke out.
in Rome. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I'd never seen anything like it. Human beings acting like cattle. I got swept up with them somehow, and the rest is a blur. Next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place and started my life over again. That's what I thought too, for a while. But it seems the gods aren't done tormenting me yet. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the grasping hands of the Romans. Or so I thought. Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule. I'm not sure I believe him, but then, what if he's right? So, it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better than the Legion thugs who took everything from me. I'm right back where I began. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting, and he'll get his, one day. He'll get his. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes.
Who's Nemesis?
Oh, come on, don't be like that. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what we need to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good and just get on with it, you know? All right. See you around.
That's a pretty good, actually, attitude to have. He did not give us a zipline this time. I don't think. Oh no, we do have it. Never mind. We're good. So we're gonna need to actually make notes. Stock on it. I don't remember what size I even had them. Fixed. Okay. Notes. We'll make them. Like that. We'll start from the top. Okay. Scintilla. Yeah. Nope. That's not what we need. Scintilla ran away. Actually, we're gonna delete this. Hang on. And lower this to like this, maybe. And we're actually gonna make this white, this black. That should be good. Okay. Fire, river, stranger.
On your best behavior, I trust? What is it, citizen?
Can we talk about
What
Scintilla?
business is that of yours? A
I'm
lot of
looking
people
for
have been
her.
looking for her. But it's been 3 weeks, and we've found nothing. What makes you think you can do better?
Sometimes fresh eyes help.
I suppose that's true.
Did you notice anything suspicious before she went missing?
Scintilla was always a kind, well-behaved young woman. I admit, her disappearance really caught me off guard. If anyone knows something, I'd expect it to be Sentia, Malleolus, Claudia, or Domitius. But none of them will tell me anything. You might fare better, though, I suppose. Fine.
What's your story?
I'm a legionary of the 1st Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughter, I should say, and the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals.
How did you end up
I'm
here?
from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing alright for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl
Fire
lined up for when it was all
started
over. Not anymore. She's probably
7
figured out
months
long
ago.
gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome.
Nemesis.
While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl and pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum Fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
Let's refresh this, but let's also change the color. There we go. Okay, do you know a way out of here?
I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out.
No one knows the way out of here.
I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested.
What can you tell me about the
He's one of
magistrate?
the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
I think we'll be
All
going.
right. Please keep an eye out for anything that might lead us to Scintilla.
Let's go ahead and check our controls real quick. There's weapons? What? Objective guide. Y for journal and inventory. I didn't even know we had a journal. We not need to be writing things down.
Hey, Horatius. How's it feel knowing your man's doomed to lose the election today?
If you're trying to goad me into an argument, it won't work. I'm a stoic, remember?
If the old man couldn't even keep his own daughter safe, how can anyone trust him to keep us safe, eh?
Why do I get the feeling you lot had something to do with Sentilla's disappearance?
That's it.
Alexa! What the heck?
As if I'll be afraid of you, little.
How you doing, Alexa? What is up? Let me close out your tab real quick. Oh no. Other guy. What? Oh, I already did. What were you playing? I forget. Right, yes. I saw that because I need to give that game more time.
On your best behavior, I
Because
trust?
I'm only a couple hours in and it hasn't caught me yet, but I know a bunch of people have gotten really into it after giving it like 5 or 6. It's we got first descended at home. If you don't follow Alexa, please do. She's a fantastic streamer, certified game jumper, also a wizard. I don't know if you know this about Alexa. She knows magic. And an accomplished wrestler, too. And howdy, and welcome all. I'm DJD. I'm a game jumper. Play a lot of different games.
Leave before I call Horatius.
She is a gunslinger. This is true also. Yes. That's what I hear, honestly. That's absolutely what I hear about the Senate game. I have it installed. I played a little bit of it. You can do it all, it's true. And then, meanwhile, Stupid wants me to suffer, so we're gonna do that. Nope. Oh my gosh. Nope. Oh my gosh. Why? No. I have water, thankfully. Oh my goodness. It's been way too long. I feel like not having to do that in a while made it worse. That was only one, too. There's no way I could ever do like a one chip challenge or anything. Like, these are just stupid, like, Takis. Like, these aren't even anything like crazy. I just don't have a tolerance for eat. I remember that. I do. Oh my gosh. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, we play a lot of different games here. Right now, we're playing what is probably my favorite in my new schedule. Although I absolutely love my new schedule right now. Well, we'll see how long I do, but right now I absolutely love it. We're playing Forgotten City, which is essentially a like detective mystery in like an ancient Roman city with a time loop mechanic. Oh my gosh, that still hurts.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
So essentially, we've discovered.
I trust you can see yourself out.
We can actually let Magistrate Sentius explain it. Probably better than we can. If we can find him. Oh my gosh. That still hurts. Where did he go? Here we go.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Detective DG80, and we've had this conversation before.
We have? Wait, if I understand correctly, someone is about to break the golden rule, forcing me to create a portal in time to bring you here? I must have entrusted you with figuring out who the culprit is. Only, I assume we failed, and you had to start over. Is that about right? If so, what happened? Ah, I see. Look, it's unfortunate, but all that matters now is that you make use of what you've learned and gathered and do better next time. Now, I assume you've sought me out again for a reason.
Okay, so essentially,
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though Magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians. My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some
so he met the stranger too.
I went
Okay,
looking for my horse.
interesting.
And discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest. I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead. Very well.
Okay, so essentially, 7 months ago, a city in, I guess, the city of Rome, a large fire was started. And a few people survived that fire and ended up here. A number of people. We don't know how many. They found a temple that leads to this place, which is like a hidden away, like, town.
Ask then.
And what's interesting about this place
Good. Now, was there something else
is
you
that
wanted
if
to discuss?
anyone in this town commits a sin, everyone dies.
Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
Now, this guy, the magistrate, found a ritual to fix that problem. But the way that he fixes it is he sacrifices himself. And that opens a portal that allows someone to time travel back to before the sin was committed to stop it.
Oh,
And that's
look
where
at
we come
that.
into play.
How lucky for me. What is it now?
So we're here to stop a sin.
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
I'm not from around here.
Really? I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now, remind me, why are we having this conversation?
Can we talk about Scintilla?
Oh, you heard about her disappearance, I take it.
Now, the other twist to this is that anytime that sin is still committed, in spite of our attempts to prevent it, that sets into motion the events that brought us here, where the magistrate runs to do his sacrifice thing, and then we have to go through the portal that he creates to come back before the sin was committed. So it's a time loop there.
What? Really? I swear, I searched her room top to bottom and never saw that. I wonder how I could have missed it. Strange, but well done, I suppose. But it's odd. It was only a few months ago that Scintilla's friend Yulia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here. You should go and speak with her. Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
Alright, I need to fix the YouTube thing real quick here. Just a sec. But we should be fixed, mostly. Hopefully. It isn't a stream if things aren't going wrong. Okay, hopefully that gets fixed, but we'll see. Okay, we have additional information now. First of all, what is this girl's name again? I forget.
Ugh,
Hang
this
on.
place has become
Cynthia.
a thoroughfare.
On your best behavior, I trust?
Okay, so we have a number of questions here.
Ugh, this
So
place
far.
has become a thoroughfare.
We need to figure out. We also need a thing for election. Hang on. Okay.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
So, we need to figure out who committed the sin so that we can stop them, so that we can go home. Because we're stuck in this place until we solve that mystery.
Are they?
In the meantime, we also have this guy running for election. And the person seeking to supplant him is going to allow people to sin, which will kill everyone. Because the other guy allegedly does not believe that the Golden Rule exists. Also, his adopted daughter, some girl who wound up here, that he adopted, apparently. Somehow left or attempted to leave or something. Her lover is apparently still in the city. Her friend is still apparently in the city, despite her friend having an escape plan before her. And her note says that she was running away of her own accord, but we don't know that for a fact. What we do know is that apparently the Golden Rule, which is that no one can sin, because if one person sins, everyone dies, That rule has not been broken. So apparently the daughter probably has not been murdered. But also, her escaping means that there might be a way out of here without stopping the sin. So then the question becomes, do we do that? How much of solving this one town's problems is our responsibility? But then we also have our greeter, a farmer who hates the magistrate and authority, apparently, just in general. And wants to get revenge.
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
Now this guy's the bodyguard of the guy who's running against the magistrate.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless...
Oof.
No. You don't look like you could afford it.
Afford what?
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
Jeez. Isn't soliciting bribes a sin? I don't think he cares, but we'll ask.
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron. Dunno. Something good. If you set one foot in that villa without permission,
Oof.
I'll skin you alive, you
He did
pussy
not like that.
Solitarius Mocus. Os in Coolio mio.
Shoot. We ruined our ability to talk to him more. So we can't ask questions now.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
Yes, why?
Nobody's told you about Hannibal? Ugh, why do
What?
I have to do everything round here? So, there was this guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell. One day, a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me the cisterns are haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course, nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right? Anyway, a few days later, he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance, I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground. And hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie. I saw a creature. Like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed. And it was eating Hannibal.
Wouldn't it have broken the golden
If
rule?
it was a man, maybe. But I swear on my life this was no man. More like a Strix. Or some Versipalus that feeds on human flesh. I didn't stick around to see which. Well, any sane person would have done. I legged it out of there. and put a sign at the door to warn the others.
That was a great story, but I'm still going down.
Without a weapon? Well, it's your funeral. Or sin Coolio mio.
Yep, nope, he still hates us. Well, now I'm afraid to go down there. So that's great. Just a sec, we'll be right back. Okay. Phone call. Okay, we can't steal. We know this. So far, we haven't found out a whole lot extra.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Beyond that, there's at least 3 people. 2 of them Legionnaires.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this?
Who
visit?
escaped that fire in Rome.
Interesting. I'm not sure why you're telling me, but you've come to the right person. Did you find a pattern then? What have you noticed?
Some people mentioned an encounter with a stranger.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. What else?
That's all I've noticed so far.
There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
Wait, what happened to Livia again?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own... Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and with a...
Sorry.
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a and then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather... But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
How did you end up
You
here?
know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
We did find a stranger, now that I think about it. That young woman named Karen.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you? Older. I see. I wonder if... No,
What were you gonna say?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
You're being a bit coy.
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
What happened to Olivia?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the Golden Rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you? You have? Then what is it? There are definitely some common threads there. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind and dictates.
I feel like there's other questions we could have potentially asked.
Let's do it your way.
What's a Vestal Priestess?
You really don't know? You are from far away, aren't you? Well, I am one of the priestesses, charged with keeping the sacred flame in Rome's shrine of Vesta.
Actually, I don't know who Vesta is.
I take it you know who Vesta is?
Remind me?
Vesta is the mother goddess
Right.
of hearth and home, and the guardian of the Roman people.
I did know that. I was just kidding. What do you do here?
Put simply, I tend to the temples, ensure their sanctity is preserved.
Why?
Why? So that we continue to honor our gods, invite their blessings, and not bring their wrath down upon us, of course. It's vital that we keep them appeased and remain in their good graces. Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Okay. Interesting. Alright. It's crazy how much stuff we could potentially steal, but that would be committing a sin, and thus doom the entire city. Who's Octavia? Do we know? No tag to Octavia. An anonymous friend to Octavia. May the Lord bless and keep you. I'm sorry I cannot risk discussing this with you in person, but if I'm right, you're a believer like me. You may not be able to worship openly here, but know that you're not alone. If you ever feel like you need somewhere to pray, there's a special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Turn right at the first fork and again at the second. Interesting. That seems like a trap.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
I'm from beyond the edge of the known world.
Then you are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share. I cannot wait to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
What's your story?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Why set up a tailor shop here?
You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
Yes, more or less.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
Fair enough. How did you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
So you floated down a Tiber?
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
Interesting. We have at least two people who mentioned a river. And we found that river as well.
Anything you like.
You know a way out of here.
Shh! Not so loud. What are you playing at?
Sorry, did I say the wrong thing?
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
Last attempt.
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me.
What?
Ah, it is a long story.
Why don't you tell me?
Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
Why hasn't anyone done that yet?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of whichever god oversees this place, and so I say it is best to not even discuss it aloud.
Trapdoor above bathhouse. Now, interestingly, that's not where we came in. We came in through the shrine.
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Why do you say that?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands, until at last the other gods were forced to act, lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
What can we do about it?
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Gosh, that seems like such a good rule.
It does, doesn't it? But it is not enough for us to do
Agreed.
this alone. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
I know, I've seen it happen.
The voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Who are you going to vote for?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Anything I can do
Nothing
to change
comes
that?
to my mind, my friend. I hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Salve. Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil.
I noticed I didn't notice the graffiti. I don't know what graffiti we're talking about, but that's fine.
Oh, it means someone thinks I'm a sinner. And that I'm going to break the golden rule.
Why does someone think that?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking.
Oh.
Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
I see.
And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
Sorry to hear that.
Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least, I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
You know who's writing the graffiti?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
It does. Son of a gun, I knew I forgot something. I have it titled right on here. Wait, what was the title again? Memory is the real victim. Appreciate you pointing that out, though. Genuinely. How is Stream Rift? You still enjoying Final Fantasy XIV? I think he got a shout out, but we're gonna give him another one. Go follow the best dressed streamer on Twitch. Okay.
What? Really? I didn't.
Why are we
expect
getting
that.
another
But
another
thanks.
mystery?
It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
See what I can do.
You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'd tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the golden rule, but once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway. Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
What's your story?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to
So we haven't
describe
really
what I
learned
do
anything
here.
new,
Help out
Rift,
with
beyond
repairs
that
and
there's
try
some
to
Christians
stop old
here.
buildings from
Evil
collapsing on people.
Christians.
That kind of thing.
Uh,
But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
and that there's some people who really don't like the magistrate.
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
One person
Some
in
of these
particular.
shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me.
What's up, Byron?
The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. It could mean that the Romans who first started building here
The
were
oldest
just
shrine here is
copying
Greek. That's
architecture,
really interesting,
which
actually.
they do all the time. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
I feel like we just asked about this temple, right?
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently,
not.
looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
Very interesting. Okay. We already asked about the history. Let's go ahead and ask about the architecture.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the Great Temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
Could we use the aqueducts to escape?
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Okay, so we now have two potential different ways to
course.
escape.
Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this so-called God doesn't seem to care. Which means one of two things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown God doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you?
I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
Who are you going to vote for?
Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking. Nice to talk to you.
Okay, so poll. We're doing our own little straw poll here. This is for Sentius, the S, and Malleolus. Okay, so we have 1, 2 so far votes for Malleolus, and we have at least 1 for Sentius. And presumably he's going to vote for himself too. We haven't talked to Malleolus, so we don't necessarily know if he's going to vote for himself. It's probably a reasonable assumption, but we'll wait until we actually speak to him to make sure. Oh yeah, you're right, you're right. The ones running aren't allowed to vote. That's correct. Okay, so we might only have 1 vote for Sentius then. I don't know what I just did there. That's fine. We need to clear it. It's fine. Okay, so we have 2 votes for Malleolius. 1 for Sentius. We should probably talk to his daughter and see if she's gonna vote for her father or not. What about the priestess? What? These statues. We're gonna add that to our notes here. Statues. We'll get clarification on the election rules here shortly as well. A shopping list. Decius is planning an escape. We're gonna save also. What does our A button do right now? Nothing? Really? Oh. Okay, so it actually has to be that. Interesting. We're gonna make jump this then. That's fine. No, actually we can't do that. Never mind. Because we do want to keep it for our weapon secondary. If we get weapons, I don't even know what that means, but... maybe we could do it for left bumper? Am I okay with that being our jump button? Maybe. Yeah, I think I am. There we go. That's better. I did not do it from dueling.
Hello? Hello?
What's your story?
My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up. I don't know. I don't remember things so good. think it's just because I was looking for treasure.
Somebody think that you were going to steal?
Yes. But I wasn't. I was just looking.
Is that all?
They said I did it more than once. But I can't remember things so good.
A liar,
They
Billy?
called
A
me
liability?
They called me a liar, Billy. Yes. They said I have to live here now, and gave me this letter. But I'm not good with words. Do you think you could read it for me?
All right. Magistrate Sentius to Dulius. I'm writing to you in relation to your incorrigible, antisocial behavior arising from your obsession with an alleged lost treasure. While I am sympathetic to your plight and the passing of your guardian Hannibal some weeks ago, I wish to impress upon you an important message. The treasure you seek does not exist. Given your memory limitations, it seems likely you simply misremembered. More importantly, since you have on several occasions been caught trespassing, including around the cisterns, which are strictly off limits to all citizens, I've reluctantly come to the conclusion that you are a liability to this community and must have your freedom limited lest you break the golden rule. It is my hope that this letter will assist you to remember why you are incarcerated, should you experience further lapses in memory.
What does it say? My treasure! My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
If you give me the key...
Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. But maybe you could help me get out of here. Then I would trust you a lot.
The magistrate did put you here for a reason.
You're mean. I don't like you.
Rough. Okay, well, we ruined that.
Isn't the great
Greetings and
temple majestic?
salutations.
Jeez, that scared me.
You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths, a real nasty sort, with his face all covered up, and he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule.
How? I don't have a weapon.
None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the chasm. So now this man's bow is the only one in the city. You'll just have to improvise.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
Do not go in there.
What? Why?
Just trust me.
All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That worked out really well. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known
assassin.
as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
I have to try it, yeah. I feel like maybe I need to, like, have a longer conversation before I lie to him, but...
Thank you for your service to the Empire.
Oh, maybe
I'll
not.
let you live for
Maybe
now,
not, though.
But you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
I feel like lying is a sin, but apparently not. Or maybe the impact matters, so like if he dies because of my lie, that counts as a sin.
Curse you, cultist.
Nobody came running. That worked out really well. That was a fantastic idea. And we have money. We have 1 denarius. Let's go. What's the whole... Man. I feel like I asked this last time. Heterochromia, right. And now we have the only weapon in the city. So that seems good. Let's save. And that didn't count as a sin. Well, technically, while an escape might be a sin, we don't necessarily know for sure that murder is a sin, but we assume it is. And then theft is definitely a sin. We know that for a fact. And this is the duct. This is the trapdoor that everybody got here from. It's actually a really nice surprise that we can swim. But everyone found this place, apparently. Through that trapdoor. Or at least everyone knows of that trapdoor. Apparently there's a temple above here. Well, we're also not stealing from him. And he's only taking the stuff after the person who owned it died and bequeathed that stuff from him. But I think death is the qualifying factor there. I don't think it necessarily matters that the other guy said, hey, you need to find this. Because we just took from the assassin who died. And he definitely did not bequeath his bow to us. I keep on forgetting that I have a flashlight, actually. Let's go back to that bathhouse real quick. I just want to see how far up we can see. Oh my gosh! Jeez, that scared me. Howdy and welcome, Johnny Bailey. How is stream, buddy? If you don't follow Johnny Bailey, he's my best friend. He's also a fantastic musician, fantastic raider. I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say fantastic streamer, and I guess I said raider instead. So we're here now. He's a great raider, though. He is. It's true. Wait, what? They're voting already? Where are you? Where? Where are you guys? It seems problematic. But yeah, welcome Raiders. I'm DJD. I'm a game jumper. Play a lot of different games.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cubulatus Decius won't give it to me. It's too late. She just slipped away. She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of Silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." Yeah. There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall. But there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
I don't even know what happened. Apparently, while I was chatting to her, some nonsense tomfoolery was going on. This having a time component where the time of day matters, I don't love that.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and what you're doing with that bow on your back?
I need you to take care of some things urgently.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening. All right, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine.
What?
Understood.
That's cool.
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
That's really cool. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Arve,
Hey, how you doing?
a new face. Arve, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
I've been asking people how they wound up here.
I'm not sure why you're telling me, but you've come to the right person. Did you find a pattern then? What have you noticed?
Some people mentioned a river.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
Some people mentioned
Yes,
an encounter
I
with a
also
stranger.
had such an encounter. What else? There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions.
I don't know that
yet.
I trust this person,
Livia's
actually.
fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first. Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Let's talk to this Decius fellow, who seems like good.
Sorry again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them?
I'm reliving the same day over and over.
You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again, for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were. Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. And you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
I like this guy. But also, he wants vengeance against the magistrate.
Anytime, friend. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right?
He's got some kind of
if
dark,
our conversations
like...
ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
undertones there. Decius was trying to
You
escape.
there. I'm sorry to trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying. No idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old magistrate's ban, but I'm impressed. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts.
Go on.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues?
I think we're gonna say no.
Well, between you and me, I found an old scroll from years ago, hastily written, in which the author claimed something extraordinary and terrifying. He wrote that when the golden rule is broken, statues spring to life all over the city, wielding golden bows and begin firing golden arrows at the inhabitants. Supposedly, 1 or 2 of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the 2 of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
Pretty sure that that's supposed to be a cautionary
Look,
tale.
I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not?
Sure.
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
Not really.
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
A golden bow?
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what.
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Oh, gods no. If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft.
I'm pretty sure that would count as theft.
A trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
Why can't you do it yourself?
I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type. I have complete confidence in you.
Not extremely
When
dangerous.
Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger? Because the gods would see you, of course. Hence my proposal. So, are you in, partner?
If you don't like action or horror elements, feel free to decline.
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are.
And that's why he wanted the bow. From the blacksmith.
Now I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
That's a good question. I don't love that, actually.
the bow? Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you.
You locked me in here?
A little bit slow, aren't you? Yes, I locked you in. And until you give me my bow, you're gonna stay in there, like Tantalus in Tartarus.
You said you'd split the riches between the two of us.
No, technically, I never said that. I said, if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, infinite wealth is still infinite. It's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference between a hypothetical and a promise, now is it? Oh, I do love a good loophole. Not a very effective threat, is it? See, your first problem is, you're in there, and I'm out here. Your second problem is the golden rule. What are you gonna do? Kill us all? It's an empty threat.
Depends on what the sin is. If the sin is taking away someone's ability to live their life,
I would reconsider my position quickly if I were you. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest, and they can be rather aggressive toward intruders.
I don't love this.
You know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man, but I always wondered how anyone could have known that. Let's find out if they were right, shall we?
I actually don't know. Oh my gosh! I kind of wanted to see if there was another thing up there. I was like, this isn't that scary, but I have the feeling it's about to get scary. Hey, we have a lot of money now. And a decent number of arrows. What about the algae? Oh. Not a terrible idea, actually. I have a bow that shoots golden arrows. I don't need any more money at all.
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why
Who's Galatea?
I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me. A rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, Tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear.
That's
and
super interesting.
Disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strained whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke.
Nope, that doesn't do anything. It was worth the try. Oh no. No! Blast. Come on, there we go. Nice. Well, we fell down there for like no reason whatsoever. There's no way they're gonna let me keep this bow, right? Alright, let's just keep going. That seems like not a good thing. Where did that statue come from? No problem, buddy. Don't know why you're thanking me for turning you into a prison. This is like a whole thing.
You're not supposed to be here.
Who was that? All Romans just naturally have good aim. I don't know if you know that. When in Rome, you're good with a bow. That's just facts. See? I feel bad about kicking these statues, actually. A little bit. Who was that lady who saw us? That's what I'm curious about. What the heck? I killed you. There we go. All Romans are good with a bow. I don't know if you know that. That's just fact. When in Rome. What's up, Dust? How you doing? I am doing. Apparently, it almost feels like I'm playing Sea of Thieves with like fighting these skeletons. You know what would be cool? Is if Sea of Thieves added a bow and arrow. Actually, that could be really neat. I feel like they could easily do that, too. I've not seen the throwing knives. I heard something about them, but I have not seen them. I love that we just wasted like 10 of our golden arrows. Arrows that literally turn things to gold on something that didn't need it. That was already gold. And maybe we didn't use 10, maybe we used like 5, but still. Oh, we could have used that and jumped up. Why didn't we do that? That's really cool. Maybe if you turn gold into gold, you can get gold in your gold. Unfortunately, Rift, I've already tried that. And you do not get compounded gold. I feel like gold would be heavier than that, but do I know? I feel like I shouldn't be able to kick it over quite as easily as that. I wonder if I could do this again and get like twice the amount of money. Oh, I should have tried to get these guys into the water before turning it.
Kill me.
Gold is as light as money? True, actually. Good point. I forgot about that. When they say your weight in gold, what they mean is literally your weight. But that amount of gold, which is apparently like a life-size version of you. Maybe even lighter. I'm a little bit like... I'm a little confused. Wait, what? Oh. That's what they were doing. Those statues are light for a reason. The gold was peeled away from them so that they're like actually just the... But then I'm kicking them after I turn them into gold. So no, never mind. Never mind. I take it back. I was wrong. No, somebody was like... using them somehow.
My beloved Galatea. After I learned the terrible...
Is it this person, the medic?
...statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented
What?
charges.
Oh, that's crazy.
Away into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman I have ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness. Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead, barred the doors to this place, and set to work.
So she's like literally torching these people, but she's trying to save them. I have no idea how big a cubic centimeter is. But it sounds small. So we're made up of 62,000 paper clips of gold. Got it. I feel like I should be able to get through here. Why did the battle music start? What on earth?
Please. Please.
No, we died. No. Blast. We did save in here, though, I think, right? Yes, we kind of did. Oh, we just got to save. Oh my gosh, yes. Perfect. I'm just saying that this game is totally unrealistic. There's no way someone could hold a bow this steady. For this long.
Help us. Please. Kill us. I just want to die. Kill me. Kill me. You.
Gotcha. True, all Romans are ripped. This is facts. Why didn't we just climb up here to begin with? So I was making fun of how many arrows they give you. But, I went through like 12 arrows there. So I kind of get it now. What a shot. Well, they don't, right? They only turn a portion of it to gold. Which somehow makes even less sense. Oh, that's a good question. I don't have a good answer. You know, I would be willing to do this again for money. Not in real life, but... They might just be turning their artillery to gold. Sure, I could see that. I could see a world where that's what's true. We're gonna save here again. Oh my gosh! We're gonna reload. Oh my gosh. Wait, that did not... Okay, we're gonna try this again. Hang on. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this right. We can't be turned into gold. I feel like we're just adding the gold. To these already gold statues. True. True. I'm gonna save again. Because that was wildly successful.
My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan. My first charge was a Greek
Beneath
woman
half an inch
who I
of gold
called Iodame
was
after
living
the
flesh.
Athenian turned to stone by Medusa.
But it was fused
Drilling
with their
through
skin.
The gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break
Most of the palace
golden
is too
rule,
dangerous to work
and
in.
yet, somehow, it did not. It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken. Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually, I was able to free most of her body, but when I released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength and those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever possessed Iodame to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated room of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering, I cannot risk attempting to ungild you yet. Not until I have perfected a method that will bring you back to me, whole in both mind and body, and ensuring your humanity is preserved. I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this God-forsaken place.
Oh my gosh. They run so fast. We really are making so much money, though. Okay, well, I'm calling it now. One of these statues. But it doesn't explain how I can kick them so easily. One of these statues is... Well, that's true. Like, they're literally just like bones with a little bit of gold, like, fused into that. That's a good call. I was wrong, by the way. I was wrong. I guaranteed, I was for sure 100% convinced one of these statues was going to be like one of the peeled gold guys. I was wrong. You can talk? Are you whispering to me through the statues? I don't understand what you're saying. Oh my gosh. Must be Navia.
And you must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for that.
If you attack me, we'll both end up encased in gold.
And do you think I care about that? I don't care what happens to me, as long as you get what you deserve.
This has nothing to do with me.
Liar! I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace, for her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her, to see her beautiful face, to hear her speak freely, instead of in those cryptic whispers. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped whispering to me. And now I discover she started whispering to you.
Wait,
instead.
was she the one
So
whispering to us
special
through the
about
rest
you.
of the statues this entire time?
What do you mean, the same voice?
Maybe it isn't.
Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me. They did sound similar. I just thought it was because all voices sound the same when they whisper. But now that I think about it, they were all benevolent and seemed to share a common knowledge. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice, then this body is nobody. And everything I've done here was... Wait, I see what you're doing. You're trying to steal her away from me. Were you planning to wait until I'd done all the hard work, then swoop in? Is that it?
No, I swear.
Liar! You tried to steal her away from me, and now look what you made me do. give me one good reason why I shouldn't peel you too.
All I want to do is leave.
What? What are you talking about?
I got trapped in tunnels under the city, and I came up inside the palace.
Wait. So you're saying you weren't coming for us?
Never had any intention of hurting.
So I did all this. I ruined her. For nothing. What have I done? Oh gods, I feel sick. I can't bear the thought of her being like this. And in so much pain. It's the air. Coming into contact with her flesh. It's agonizing for them. But the only way to fix it will be to break the golden rule and let it run its course. At least that way she'd be golden again, and we'd be together. All it would take is one little cut.
Wait, I can undo
It's
this.
Too late. There's
No,
nothing
I
we
literally
can
have a golden bow. I can
do
undo this. I can fix this.
What? How? Really? I'm not sure I believe you.
Oh my gosh.
If you can undo this mess, I'll give you the key to my old medical chest in the Shrine of Apollo. I imagine it would help Lucretia ease the suffering of those still in the city. But if you're lying to me, I'll break the golden rule and kill you and everyone else in this city. Understood? You did it. You took
Oh
away
my
her
goodness.
pain. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you. I swear I will never harm her again. I swear it. I'll stay here to keep her company. But these poor souls, what can be done for them? I've tried everything I can. I fear the only one capable of releasing them properly is whichever god doomed them in the first place. In any case, I must honor our bargain. Here's the key I promised you. It opens a chest in the Shrine of Apollo. I believe there are a few things in there which may be useful to Lucretia. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there. Go, and never return.
If I turned her into gold, would that count as breaking the golden rule? Because I kind of want to. I mean, I don't desire violence, but this person, like, literally just tortured tons of people for no good reason. Shoot,
The
that
many
counted.
shall suffer
Yep.
for the sins of the one.
There's nothing... That's not true. One of the things that I dislike the most is people who ask questions when they have a specific answer they want you to arrive at, or they have no real desire to know the answer. When I ask a question, I actually do want to know the answer, and I don't already have a specific answer I want to arrive at, or want others to arrive at. Because that's the whole point of what questions are, right? Is to learn. Is to answer them with the correct answer. Alright, I think we're going to end it there. Let's save. We now have a golden bow, which that should actually change a lot of things for us. That should actually be really good. Oh no. This new update for XSplit is killing me. It's not doing great. We'll be right back. Okay, there we are. Okay, we are going to rate it out. Thank you so much for joining me for this game jump. It's actually been a fantastic one. I'm in love with this game. I really am. But we are going to rate out. We'll be back tomorrow with some Elite Dangerous, hopefully. See how long the podcast takes. Saturdays are gonna continue to be a challenge, I think, in that respect. We're actually going to rate somebody actually playing Final Fantasy XIV, I think. Maybe. Yes. I've been following him for a while. He also dresses well. Dresses up. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know that I dress well, per se, so. But I dress up. This person seems to also dress up. I've never actually had the opportunity to rate them before. So let's do it. as always, safe travels.